So the morning routine now has dwindled down from like 9 elements around there to 2. All right, welcome back to yet again another episode of the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKellar, your host. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this, of course, is the show for the productivity junkies, right? Whether you're a business owner, a solopreneur, somebody who's looking to just be that much more efficient throughout their day and structure their day around a whole bunch of daily routines. What we've found is, and what I found is that habits are great, but developing that ideal day and executing that perfect day around structured daily routines kind of trumps that. Now, welcome back. Today is going to be another episode of, and another installment of the Baby Chronicles, Part 2, Daily Routines as a New Parent. Now, my daughter, I can't believe I'm saying that. It's so crazy. My daughter is turning 1 month old as of the recording of this tomorrow. So, woo, what a month it's been. So much to talk about, so much to kind of dive into. So before we get into any type of routine building with a newborn, I'll kind of share some of my general thoughts. It is the most amazing, intense, scary, difficult, and sweet experience all in one. It's so, and I kind of had a feeling it would be like that, right? But when you experience it, it's like your emotion of describing that is like, whew, wow, like, it's really crazy, right? I fell in love with my daughter. I remember the moment. She was delivered. They were stitching up my wife, and they were, and my daughter Quinn was brought over to the warming table where they would do their first APGAR scores and all that. And I was there after they did their first set of scores. I kind of was there kind of like alone with her, right? And I said her name and I started talking to her and she started responding. I mean, not really responding, but just kind of, kind of somewhat focusing her attention because I was real close. And I fell in love. That was it. It was just incredible. Now, we came home in which we will talk about a little bit more structured about daily routines, but man, the first 7 to 10 days, there was like no sleep. There was just like no sleep. And to be honest with you, it made it like really not fun. And I'm going to tell you right now, I believe there are so many people who gloss over that little experience, right? And everything is amazing. Like, it can be hard. Like you're allowed to have some, struggle, right? And it was tough. Already within a month, I mean, last 2 weeks, she's been much better with sleeping. My wife and I have a little bit of a sleeping schedule. And it's kind of right now it's at this point where, I love her to death, but it's very much like, okay, like we're just kind of feeding her and changing her and keeping her alive, until she becomes a little bit more engaging, right? So right now there's, it's what I've been told is to really enjoy every moment. And if you have a child, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you can, attest to the fact that like this time will never come again. So just enjoy it. And I do. I really, really am. So why don't we get into some of the details around daily routines, or the lack thereof, or whatever you need to do, right? Productivity in general, while you have a baby. Now, we're in the newborn stage, so I can't speak to somebody who has a toddler. I can't speak to somebody who has, a 10-year-old. I'm speaking to my experience, and that's it. The Baby Chronicles is my predictions and realizations with my child. So, now I only have one child, right? So this is just my experiences. When it comes to ritual design, I found, and you may believe me or may not believe me, I found that having a ritual design is more important than ever when you have a baby. And I think that goes for anything that you are doing in your life, that all of a sudden your life becomes that much more stressful, that much more busy, right? Having the plan, just having it there, whether you execute it or not, is way more important, because you have to have something to be, going towards. So I think that's really important. I think specifically within the ritual design, my clog, right, has been the dishes. I know it's a silly thing, but it is. It just kind of clogs up my whole routine. It's crazy because now it is more of a clog than ever. And I'll tell you why. Because immediately when Quinn came home, all of a sudden there was these tubes and bottles and potions and lotions and like all this stuff that always had to be either cleaned or replenished, or it's just like, it's crazy. It's like so many nipples just everywhere. It's like, what is that, right? And I'm just kind of joking, but like the dishes as my clog has just become that much more intense, right? So let's talk about some of the changes that I've had to make with my ritual design. So my morning routine has always been, out of the 4 routines, my morning routine has always been the most, usually the most intense when it comes to time spent on it, as well as the importance of those elements that I have in the routine. It has now become almost non-existent. And I'll tell you why. So with our sleep schedule, right, our sleep schedule is completely determined by Quinn. She tells us if we're going to get sleep or not, right? And what we worked it out is that the first half of the night, my wife is in charge of Quinn, stirring or changing or feeding, whatever it is. And I get the first 4 hours. I sleep like a baby because I'm exhausted, right? First 4 hours. The next 4 hours is my time to kind of be there. So now if she starts to kind of fall back asleep, here and there, which has been kind of unsuccessful for my 4 hours, but I will try to fall asleep, and being so tired, I knew that the morning routine wasn't going to happen. I ditched my entire ritual design for the first 2 weeks because I knew that I wasn't going to get anything done. I had to assess how this was going to go. So the morning routine now has dwindled down from like 9 elements around there to 2. And I think I want to maybe throw in one more, but all I do in the morning is, as I sleep as much as I can, as late as I can, and then I hop in the shower, do personal hygiene stuff, and then I do my stretching and my breathing routine. That's it. That's all I have now, right? And that's okay, because what I've done is already incorporated some of the other elements into my other routines. So my workouts, right? My workouts is a very important, I work out 6 days a week. I'm very passionate about, exercise, and weightlifting and bodybuilding and all that. And that has now become in a point where I thought I would never be doing that in my AW routine, my after work routine. So around 5:30, even sometimes 6, depending on when I close up and round out for the day, I'll work out then. So it's been a different change in my body's getting adjusted to that. It might be even better, but I don't get those endorphins throughout the day. So I do feel a little bit of a difference throughout the day. I don't think I'm as ready to go and fired up in the morning. So those are some of the biggest changes. My PM routine is not there yet. I don't have one. And I to be honest with you, if I do have one, it's going to be extremely minimal, because it's baby time, right? I gotta get the bottle ready. I gotta set up, my wife's got to change her and get her in her sleep sack and all that good stuff. And ultimately, I'm working on my business block, which is, anything I have to do for upgrade, usually is one of my last ones is at night. So from like 8:30 to 9, or 9 to like 10 now, we're trying to move our bedtime up a little bit earlier. So the PM routine is non-existent. I mean, I'll kind of walk you through what I used to have. Let's see where we are. So my PM routine used to be This is going to be, this might be cute, right? Oh, I don't have it in this one. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it in one of my, I'll use this example as a journal as an example. Let's see if I can find it quick enough, which I don't think I'll be able to, but basically it was, make tea and meditate and shower and, do a mantra or whatever, all these different things. And that's not happening. I do make tea, right? But that's about it. Let's see if I can, hold on. Let's see if this is it. Nope. Okay. So either way, it is, I'm working on that. I'm trying to figure out where that comes into play. Let's see what else has changed. So, now not necessarily about a routine, but something about, personal development. I will tell you this, being tired and being grossly, tired is really has shown me something, and it's proved to me something about how I operate. Everything stems from my physical being. So if I am not in a good physical state, either well slept, if I haven't been working out in months, right? If I'm just a blah, and if I'm eating like crap, I can't build upon that. Like my triangle, right? My pyramid has to be physical, and then usually mental on top of that, and then emotional on top of that. That's my pyramid. And if I don't have that physical, I cannot build anything else on top of it. So I'll give you an example. The first week and change when we came home and we were just dying for sleep, I ate whatever the hell I wanted to eat. I just shoveled crap in my face. I was eating just anything. It didn't matter. If I wanted it, I had it. Zero willpower. Now, there is a lot of conversations around willpower and whether or not that is affected by your physical state, across the board, or if it's just individual to some people. I think there's a lot of gray area there. I think it's very hard to have a scientific proof, right? And, real controlled peer-reviewed studies, because it's like willpower, like what is that, right? So it does lean towards being affected by your physical state, but I think other people have higher or lower thresholds. Myself, I have a very low threshold. Then that's okay, just what it is. If I am not physically there, everything else goes by the wayside. So already in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten right back on track with my diet for the most part. But my sleep is pretty much regulated now. So I'm getting usually anywhere between 6 and 7 hours of sleep. What I'm trying to get used to is the broken sleep, right? There's never, I always used to sleep right through the night. That'll never, I don't even know when that'll happen again. I usually do 4-hour stretch and then I get woken up pretty much every hour after that. So it's definitely an adjustment, but we're getting there. So those are some of the initial predictions that I've had. One other thing, not predictions, initial findings that I've had. Now, one last thing I will tell you about ritual design in particular, or any routine. If you have just one morning routine, evening routine, whatever it may be, if you use, say if you use the planner, right? And you go through and you write, okay, at 6:10, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do some stretching. And at 6:30, I'm going to go to the gym. Nope. No more. Time does not exist. It's like a couple of hour windows where you can kind of fit things in if you need to. It just doesn't exist. So, that is a point, say if you are using this and you're filling this out, if you fill out the amount of time that it takes you to do each element, forget about the specific times. You just can't. You're on your child's schedule. And I knew that was going to happen. So that at least I was well aware of. The willpower thing I was not. So we're kind of getting back on there. So that is my initial findings of newborn life with trying to become the best version of yourself. Not as it's challenging, but it's totally doable, right? And you have to recognize that having this time for yourself is just like again, recognizing the clog, recognizing having the system is more important than ever when things are stressful and tough in your life. You have to have somewhere to strive to. If you don't have that, that base for yourself, you get nothing, right? There is no time for you, right? Or it feels like it. So that's that. Now, my predictions moving forward, we're at 1 month, right? As of tomorrow. So right now, it's interesting because, like I said, she has basically no motor skills whatsoever, let alone fine or gross. So, she's a little bit of a blob, right? We kind of sit her there, right? We hold her, we burp her, but there's nothing happening, right? Other than some little tummy time, right? Just trying to have her push. I'm pretty sure my wife knows this as she's a pediatric nurse practitioner. I believe the milestone for like sitting upright, I think it's like 6 months. I think we start crawling at 8 months around there, and then walking. So in the near future, I don't foresee a lot of differences when it comes to actively having to be there. Like I can't right now. I'm trying to work and watch her kind of at the same time and different things like that. I think I could do that for a little bit while. I know, or at least I'm predicting that her sleep, so she sleeps a lot during the day as well. I'm pretty sure that she'll be sleeping less during the day and more at night. So less sleep during the day means more active for us. I also know that eventually her naps will start to align into a predictable phase, which is really, really important because if you know that every day at 1 o'clock she takes a nap or something like that, you can plan your day around that and plan your routines around that. So I know that those things are coming, but I think for the next month or so, it's going to be pretty much the same, which is really good. So my work that I will need to do is trying to establish a PM routine and trying to incorporate just a couple of things from my morning routine that I couldn't yet and throw those in somewhere in the ritual design. But other than that, it's going well. It's knock on wood, it's going well. And I am just, I'm in love, and it's really, really good. So, and I wouldn't be able to do this without my wife. I'll tell you right now, my wife has been just, as all of them usually are, just amazing, right? Like she's just rocking it. So with that being said, that is my initial findings of ritual design with a newborn, right? The baby Chronicles. So we'll do another update probably later down the road. I'm not going to do one every month. I'm going to do one where I feel that there are some big changes, but right now we're going to be holding steady. And those are my, like I said, predictions and or suggestions and or realizations. There we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. If you really liked this and you know somebody who is a new parent who needs some daily routines in their lives, please pass this along. And I would love you to leave a review for the show. That would help so much. If you're watching, hit the bell and subscribe so you'll get notified of the next episode releases. And I, of course, will see you next week on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast.